technician professionalism, troubleshooting process. So as we wrap up this A+ course, we need to delve into some of the soft skills that go into being a technician. Some of the things that CompTIA and the A+ certification want you to be aware of as a professional technician. And the first thing we need to talk about is this troubleshooting process. There's actually a specific set of steps, which may seem like common sense to you, but which we need to go over anyway, that A+ wants you to be aware of, and they will ask you questions about on the exam. So this is a 6-step A+ troubleshooting process that you need to be aware of. This is some of this seems like it might overlap a little bit, and some of it might be common sense, but we need to be aware of this 6-step process and which comes before the other when you're taking the test, because they will ask you. So the first step is to identify the problem. The second step is to establish a theory about the problem. The third step is to test the theory before we get to step 4, which is establish and implement a plan of action, i.e. fix the problem. Step 5 is to verify full system functionality, a step that actually a lot of technicians fail to do and causes a lot of repeat business. And then finally, step 6, which is document everything, your findings, actions, and your outcomes. These are the 6 steps that A+ wants you to be aware of, and so it's important to at least be familiar with them and to be able to recognize it on the test. So let's quickly just briefly go over these 6 steps and sort of how we can translate them into real world language. Step 1, identify the problem. What exactly is going on here? That's how I would say identifying the problem. So for instance, my computer will not turn on. My computer's not working. Might be what the user might say, my computer's not turning on. And so what you need to determine is what exactly is the problem. If the computer won't turn on, well then the problem is the computer won't turn on. If someone calls you and says, hey, I can't print, well, the issue is printer's not functioning correctly. Okay? Now, what the cause of that is, that's where we get to step 2, establishing a theory. So someone says my computer won't turn on, and the next thing you need to think of is, well, what is the most likely cause of the problem? So this would be, if the computer's not turning on, then maybe the system's unplugged. Or if the printer's not working, then perhaps the cord is not plugged in, or perhaps the drivers aren't there. So what we need to do is first establish a theory as to what we think the problem is based on the issue at hand, or the problem. Again, the problem, and I just want to point this out, the problem is actually the issue. Computer's not working. Computer keeps restarting. It's very slow. It's sluggish. What are the symptoms? Okay, then we get to testing a theory, which is, what is your prognosis of the situation? What do you believe the issue to be? Just like with the medical profession, troubleshooting is not an exact science. So we need to figure out, based on what we see, what we think the problem is. Now, of course, once we've established a theory, we need to test that theory to see if it actually works. So you want to make sure your theory, quote unquote, holds water, as we would say. Now, I think that actually step 3 and step 4 sort of overlap a little bit, but for the purposes of the exam, keep them separate. What I mean is that this theory would be, look, the computer isn't plugged in, or the computer's plugged in, so my theory is incorrect, in which case we'd have to actually repeat steps 1 and 2. But we need to test the theory. The computer is running sluggishly. Oh, well, I believe that you have a virus. The next thing I have to do is test the theory. Now, how do I do that? Well, if I think you have a virus, I might boot you into safe mode and see if you're still running improperly. I might take a look at some of the settings and see if I see any virus problems or virus sort of information in your registry or in the MS config, whatever. Then we get to step 4. Once you've tested the theory and you're sure that the problem that is related to what your theory is, that's when you establish and implement a plan of action. Now, the reason I said that step 4 and step 3 sort of meld together for me is I think sometimes when you're testing a theory, you need to implement a plan of action. In other words, if I think there's a virus on your system, I might run a virus scan to catch it. By running the virus scan, I'm testing my theory, and at the same time, I'm implementing a plan of action. But this is, in other words, simply fixing the problem, short and sweet. I need to figure out how I'm going to fix it, and then I need to fix it based on the problem that I've seen, a theory I've come up with, and me verifying that theory is actually correct. So in our analogy that I've created, fixing the problem would be plugging in the computer. Remember, step 1, my computer's not turning on. Step 2, well, if your computer's not turning on, we should check to see if it's plugged in. Step 3, oh look, it's not plugged in. Step 4, I'm going to plug this in. Once you've done that, we can get to step 5, which is verifying full system functionality. This is a really important step. A lot of technicians forget to do it. Sometimes you're in such a quick rush to get to your next client or to get to the next computer that you don't check out everything correctly. Sometimes when you remove a virus, for instance, you can actually remove files that will cause the computer not to run properly. In this case, we actually need to do more work to verify full system functionality. So sometimes fixing the problem doesn't necessarily resolve all the issues. It might actually cause other ones. So in this case, we're going to turn on the computer and test that everything works. If we just removed a virus, we probably want to work on it for a little bit. Make sure that we're not getting any error messages. Sometimes this can be a tricky one to do too, because sometimes full system functionality we don't know if we have until we start getting error messages or weird things start to occur. And so sometimes you'll have to leave your information with the client and just test it to the best of your ability. Getting to step 6, you're going to document everything, and then you're going to let them call you in case something goes wrong again. So in this case, the computer boots up, and then it's been working for about 5 minutes. I don't just want to boot up the computer and look that it's working, because what if I go away and suddenly the computer shuts down again? Well, then maybe it wasn't the fact that things weren't plugged in correctly. Maybe the system is overheating. So we need to give it a little time. Of course, you can't spend hours and hours there. That's probably too expensive for the client and takes too much time for you. So finally, step 6, this is a really important one, especially when it comes to this A+ exam. You need to document your findings. You write it all down for the next time. You don't only write it down for yourself, but you write it down so other people know how to fix the issue. So if I've plugged in the computer, and then someone else gets a call and it says my computer's not working, well, A, they might realize this user somehow keeps unplugging their system, or B, I've already tried to unplug and replug in the system, and that is actually not the real issue. So it's really important to document everything. And I mean write it all down. Write too much down. You can never be too exhaustive in what you write. A lot of places will actually use what are called ticketing systems. A ticketing system allows you to sort of figure out to keep track of users and the problems they've had. It also allows you to do what we call escalate a problem in case it's a little out of your means, which sometimes happens. Still, in the case of escalation, you need to document everything so the next person, this perhaps level 2 or level 3 technician, can fix the problem that you weren't able to. All right. So really quickly, I just want to review this 6-step process since, again, this is really important and it will come up in the exam. Step 1, we're going to identify the problem. Look, computer's not turning on. Oh, internet's not working. Oh, the printer's not printing. Step 2, establish a theory. I think the printer's not printing because the network's down. Or, I think the printer's not printing because the device drivers aren't installed correctly. Step 3 is test the theory. Perhaps you plug up that printer to another computer you know works. Oh, it's working here, so it must be a software problem. Or you test the theory by checking to see if the network connection works for another computer. Ah, it's working, I can print from another computer, therefore it must be something to do with this computer, not with necessarily the entire network's connection. Step 4, establish and implement a plan. Since I know that the driver is not installed correctly, I know I need to download and install new drivers. Once you do that, you do it. And then you verify full system functionality. I'm going to print to that printer and make sure it works. I'm going to work on the computer for a little bit. I'm going to print from different types of applications. And finally, we document the findings, actions, and outcomes. Basically, everything we did, everything we saw, and everything that happened. That way, the next user knows how to fix it if the same problem arises, or knows what you tried in case a different problem arises. Alternatively, so you have a nice log of what you've done in the past to fix issues. Great. So that's the 6-step troubleshooting process you need to be familiar with for A+. Let's continue on talking about some other technician professionalism issues that you need to be aware of for this exam.